the 10th annual Little Roy and Lizzie Music Festival, May 4th through the 6th in Lincolnton, Georgia. Get your tickets now.
Welcome to Davis Appliance and Furniture, where you can find the best deals in town. We offer new and used appliances, and we service what we sell. We offer no credit needed financing and delivery options to meet your needs. For the top brands and lowest prices in town, visit us at Davis Appliance and Furniture.
Thanks for watching News 12 on your side.
From the station that's on your side, News 12, first at 5, continues.
A 13-year-old boy killed while getting DoorDash at the Richmond Summit Apartments on Broad Street. Now, weeks later, we have major developments in his case and a potential suspect. New surveillance video and mugshots bringing investigators one step closer tonight to closure for Buddy Brown's family.
Information in Brown's case has been hard to come by. Investigators really tight-lipped in all this, but in the last 24 hours, there have been some major updates, like you were saying, including the name and photo of a possible suspect here. This is what we know right now. 30-year-old Gregory Thornton is the suspect wanted for murder in connection to the shooting death of Buddy Brown. We're told Thornton was staying in Augusta but fled back to Maryland with his girlfriend, where they are originally from. The U.S. Marshal Service was called in to serve an arrest warrant in the apartment complex that you're seeing right here in Edgewood. This is all right outside of Baltimore. As a task force moved in, Thornton showed up, and police say a high-speed chase started, but that's when it was called off because conditions became too dangerous. Now, law enforcement are still looking for Thornton right now. They believe that he is still in the Baltimore region. We're told there is a female in custody from the family of Buddy Brown. And coming up all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we hear from the U.S. Marshal Service on how all of this happened.
But first, taking a look
this afternoon, we'll have a full update for the weekend in just about 10 minutes.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. Frustrated parents emailing us and posting on Facebook after this photo from Jenkins County Middle High School went on Facebook. The photo shows 4 students posing by a trash can named Shaniqua. It was a part of a student project called Think Outside the Bag Day, encouraging recycling and picking up trash. The photo was posted to the school parent connection page. Since then, the school took it down, called it inappropriate, and offered an apology. The superintendent says that they would like to formally apologize to those who were hurt and offended by this incident. She says that they cannot take it back, but they are working to address it. Staff will go through sensitivity and diversity training. A parent is also requesting this issue to be put on the agenda for next week's school board meeting.
a memorial service today for a man well known and appreciated in Augusta. 94-year-old Lowell Greenbaum received national praise for his work, both in his field and in his community. He passed away Wednesday from stroke complications. Greenbaum's service happening today. He chaired the Richmond County Democratic Party for more than a decade, hosting Bill Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, and Stacey Abrams in his home. He was also an active member of the Rotary and sat on the board of the Augusta Canal Authority. Last year, Greenbaum's service was recognized by President Joe Biden with the President's Lifetime Achievement Award. Family says today is about remembering his impact.
Well, I mean, he loved his community. He loved Augusta. And, so he really became a Georgian and an Augustan, if that's the way you say it. He embraced the city, and apparently, after what I've seen today, it really embraced him.
Another highlight on his resume was him becoming chairman of research at the Medical College of Georgia, later becoming vice president and a dean. Augusta University, his contributions to the Medical College of Georgia, they are significant and far-reaching, and his legacy will continue to be felt.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp has signed a bill to give Richmond County voters the decision on whether the mayor should get a full vote on the Augusta Commission. Right now, the mayor can only cast a vote to break a tie, resulting in strategies among commission members that can keep the mayor from voting. This happened when a commissioner abstained during a commission meeting, avoiding a tie that blocked Mayor Garnett Johnson from voting on an ambulance contract with Gold Cross. State lawmakers passed legislation to let voters decide whether Augusta's mayor should have a full vote like other members of the commission. Voters could see that question on the ballot in November. A decision is expected soon from the Supreme Court about the abortion pill mifepristone.
Our Abby Kasoris talks to an OBGYN about what care is available for women and what this could mean going forward.
What I see in practice, I see people being really angry right now.
OBGYN Mimi Zeman feels cutting off access to mifepristone only harms women. The impending Supreme Court decision could impact whether providers can prescribe one of two commonly used abortion pills called mifepristone, used by more than 3.5 million women since its FDA approval more than 2 decades ago.
Incredibly frustrating as a physician to not be able to practice scientific, evidence-based, routine health care because random legislators and judges are deciding to get involved and affect women in particular.
This month, Judge Matthew Kaczmarek, a Trump appointee, blocked the FDA's approval of mifepristone, pulling one of 2 drugs used in medication abortions from the market. An appeals court later voted the FDA's approval of the pill should stand, but imposed tighter rules on how the drug is prescribed. If the Supreme Court supports Kaczmarek's decision, OBGYNs could still prescribe a second pill, misoprostol. Misoprostol-only abortions are not as effective and are more likely to have painful side effects. Anti-abortion groups in D.C. and in Georgia want Supreme Court justices to ban the drug, citing safety concerns.
I just beg women not to put themselves in danger.
According to the National Library of Medicine, just over 2 out of every 1,000 women taking mifepristone had complications, mostly heavy bleeding. 1 out of every 100,000 women died after taking mifepristone. Semi Fleck with Georgia's Right to Life feels all lives are precious.
A number of options that are available besides possibly ingesting a pill that will harm, devastate, or kill the mother. It obviously is meant to kill the child.
Thanks, Abby. A new group of sculptures are welcome to the Sculpture Trail in Augusta. This trail, which attracts both locals and out-of-towners, displays public works of art in a unique setting. 10 new sculptures were selected from submissions and will stay on the walk for the next 2 years. The celebration, this ribbon cutting, there was entertainment, music, and more than half a dozen guest speakers, including Mayor Pro Tem Brandon Garrett and Commissioner Stacy Pulliam. There were also 4 local authors whose books were a part of the book bench sculpture.
Augusta and the poetry scene here raised me and helped me develop literary craft and taste and community. And, being here today is a very beautiful throwback to that time and an ability to name myself as part of that long legacy of Augusta writers.
4 of the sculptures from the initial sculpture trail have been donated to the city's public art collection and are included as a permanent addition to the trail. Riley?
And it should be mostly dry this weekend if you want to check out the new sculpture trail there. We're looking at just a very low chance for a passing shower storm tomorrow. We'll have a full look at that forecast just after break.
5 suspicious fires throughout Aiken now leave those having to rebuild. How a business who operated out of the Fermata Club is now having to start from scratch. That's coming up all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Time and
A fried mushroom Buford. Whatever you order, own it at Checkers.
All right, here's a live look now out at the Columbia County Spring Fair. Today is the first day of the 3rd annual event. Gates opened just a bit ago, and it runs through tonight at 11. Tonight there will be a demolition derby. There will be rides, fair food, and entertainment all weekend long, like pig racing. I didn't know there was pig racing out there. It might be what I go out there for. But magic shows and visits from Disney princesses. News 12 is a proud sponsor of this event, and the fair runs through next Saturday. I think pig racing will get you out there.
Yeah, I love that it's not cold. I've spent many nights at a fair cold. And how fun is it to go up in the Ferris wheel and not be freezing?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm a big fan of a spring fair, Riley.
Yeah, spring fairs are great, and luckily we have nice spring weather for this evening for opening night. Gates are already open out there, and they got the demolition derby happening tonight at 7 o'clock. We should be sitting in the 70s around that time frame, gradually falling into the 60s as we do head into late tonight. But a great night to check out the Columbia Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday next week. So enjoy the mostly dry weather while it lasts.
Thanks, Riley. More than 100 people facing charges after two gang crackdowns known as Operation Crack the Ice and Operation Blood Clot.
As Megan Packer explained, some of those indicted are already in prison, some are in custody, and gang units are currently looking for the others.
Even children in our elementary schools are being recruited by gangs, wooed by the idea of quick and easy money, respect, and a sense of belonging.
State and local law enforcement and prosecutors announcing two major crackdowns in Spalding County and beyond. Operation Crack the Ice and Operation Blood Clot. In all, more than 100 people are indicted, facing a range of gang and drug-related charges. More than 60 of them are already in custody.
Also, one of the enticements they give to our youth is they like to provide them with firearms. Multiple pictures on social media of kids, elementary school kids and middle school kids brandishing firearms.
Spalding County Sheriff Darrell Dix says gang activity is to blame for much of Spalding's violence, including the recent shooting death of 11-year-old Asia Jones, who was shot and killed by a stray bullet while she was in her bed. Keontae Parks is charged in her death, accused of being part of the gang investigators have their eyes on here.
The Neighborhood Bloods, Rolling 20s Zoo Crew.
Just this past session, Governor Kemp, our office, and the legislature worked on SB 44, which will provide mandatory minimums for adults that recruit children into gangs. 10 to 15 years for the first offense, 15 to 25 for the second.
The sheriff warns gang members to get out while they can, urges parents to be involved with their children as his team takes on the challenge of getting ahead of the always recruiting gang members.
Cut the head off the snake. Unfortunately, I haven't seen anybody in the 36 years that I've been in law enforcement find that snake. So you have to just keep going at what you can go at.
The work for these gang crackdowns go back more than nearly 3 years to late 2020.
What's the best way to keep your computers out of landfills? Well, up next, we'll take a look at how you can add years of life to your tech.
First Alert Radar.
Dollars at LensCrafters, over 200 at Walmart, and over 150 at America's Best. When it comes to value, Stanton Optical is the top bird.
Earth Day is Saturday, and you might be thinking of ways to help the environment. And there's at least one thing you might not have considered: how to keep your computers working longer.
About 80% of computers end up in landfills, and many of those are thrown away too early when they still work. Our consumer tech reporter, Jamie Tucker, shows us how to extend the lifespan of a computer and save a lot of money.
What the Tech, sponsored by Wow Internet.
The computers used to have a lifespan of maybe 5 or 6 years, not anymore. If you take a few steps to protect them and keep them running, a computer like this is perfectly fine for over 10 years.
The biggest culprits that kill computers too soon are viruses and spyware. Clicking on a malicious link in an email or a website can install computer killers. Those links can look legitimate, even be included in a Facebook or Google ad. Windows and Macs have their own antivirus software and spyware blockers. Just make sure they're installed and active. Never give anyone remote control of your computer. These scammers might say they're with Microsoft. They'll ask you to type a few letters in a box so they can make repairs. Instead, they're installing viruses, spyware, and programs to steal your information. If your machine gets infected, don't throw it away immediately. CCleaner is a free software that can scan and clean out the registry. Keep it cool by cleaning out the fence with a can of compressed air. And the age-old question, should you turn it off or leave it on? Don't turn it off every night, but do it once a week to install updates. Lastly, upgrade the hard drive to a solid state or SSD drive. They don't have spinning parts that can go bad. Unless you know what you're doing, though, find a computer repair shop that'll install it for you.
Now, granted, you're not going to spend $200 to fix a $300 computer. Otherwise, though, you can save the environment, save a lot of cash by making the computer you have now last a lot longer. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
The EPA says every year Americans toss over 1/4 ton of computers into the trash, which eventually winds up in landfills. Those computers contain harmful materials that lead to many types of health problems.
Years ago, I had a coach tell me that if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish any goal you have, no matter how difficult it might be to achieve. When speaking with Silver Bluff's Aaliyah Lawrence ahead of the playoffs, she told me one of her goals is to play college basketball. Well, after all her hard work, Lawrence has announced that she's taking her talents to Columbia to play for Benedict College. This year, Lawrence helped lead the Lady Bulldogs to an overall record of 19-4, going 8-0 in region play and making it 3 rounds deep into the playoffs. With the series shifting to Atlanta for Game 3, the Hawks have their backs up against the wall, down 2-0 in their first-round playoff series against the Celtics. Through the first 2 games, the Hawks haven't really had an answer for Boston's offense, but they'll have the chance to get back in this series when Game 3 tips off tonight at 7 o'clock inside State Farm Arena. The Green Jackets are on the road. Beach, Augusta's minor league baseball team will be back in town on Tuesday for a showdown with the Columbia Fireflies.
All right, thanks for that, Dan. If you have a tea time out there tomorrow, we're looking at nice weather for the most part, a very low rain chance right around midday, but most of our Saturday should remain dry. Now look at that 70 forecast just after the break.
In South Carolina, where
Are exhausted. Call Wright and Schulte LLC.
The jury is out, and a decision is looming in the murder trial of Sandra Dales. We've been following this case, and we'll have the latest updates ahead on News 12 at 6 o'clock. But first, we are talking about Lights Out Aiken, and we'll go to Riley for our look at a forecast.
Yeah, we're looking at mostly clear skies this evening. Starting to see a few more clouds show up late tonight, but take advantage of another beautiful afternoon and evening. We're still close to 80 degrees here in Augusta. Winds starting to calm down a little bit and should be fairly light through most of tonight. As we head past midnight, there's going to be an opportunity for a quick passing downpour across the area. Most of our Saturday does look dry, but there is going to be a front pushing through the area. Ahead of that front, we could see a few isolated showers, maybe even a thunderstorm. But for the most part, mostly dry. That's the key takeaway tomorrow. I wouldn't necessarily think you have to cancel anything you have planned outside on Saturday. We're back to generally clear skies Saturday night to Sunday morning. We actually do have the Lyrid meteor shower peaking over the weekend, so if you want to check that out, great viewing after sunset Saturday and through Sunday morning before sunrise. Temperatures will feel a little bit cooler early Sunday, waking up in the 40s and then ending our Sunday afternoon most likely into the low to mid 70s, so a little bit below average to close out to the weekend. Not quite as warm as what we've been so far this week. And it looks like our high temp.
But first, we are talking about Lights Out Aiken, and we'll go to Riley for our look at a forecast.
Yeah, we're looking at mostly clear skies this evening. Starting to see a few more clouds show up late tonight, but take advantage of another beautiful afternoon and evening. We're still close to 80 degrees here in Augusta. Winds starting to calm down a little bit and should be fairly light through most of tonight. As we head past midnight, there's going to be an opportunity for a quick passing downpour across the area. Most of our Saturday does look dry, but there is going to be a front pushing through the area. Ahead of that front, we could see a few isolated showers, maybe even a thunderstorm. But for the most part, mostly dry. That's the key takeaway tomorrow. I wouldn't necessarily think you have to cancel anything you have planned outside on Saturday. We're back to generally clear skies Saturday night to Sunday morning. We actually do have the Lyrid meteor shower peaking over the weekend, so if you want to check that out, great viewing after sunset Saturday and through Sunday morning before sunrise. Temperatures will feel a little bit cooler early Sunday, waking up in the 40s and then ending our Sunday afternoon most likely into the low to mid 70s, so a little bit below average to close out to the weekend. Not quite as warm as what we've been so far this week. And it looks like our high temperatures even past the weekend will get even cooler for us. Rolling into next week, we're expecting highs to generally stay in the upper 60s and low 70s, and that will be thanks to a little bit higher rain chances across the area. So take advantage of the mostly dry weekend. It's going to stay really nice Saturday and Sunday. As we roll into next week, Tuesday late into the day, especially Tuesday night through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're just going to see wave after wave of areas of low pressure. So that will bring us much higher rain chances and potentially could see a couple inches of rain.
Which could be good. We need to get some of the pollen out of the area, right? I'm trying to look on the bright side. I'm trying to be positive. There we go. Thanks for joining us. News 12 at 6 o'clock is coming up next. Richard and Laura heading into the studio.